Hello, welcome to the Age of Sigmar Stat Center. And the 400th, Season 4, Episode 69 of the Stream Streak. That's right, 469 days in the can. No messing. Let's go. Hope everyone is well. Now, it's just me today. No Owen Jackson. He's away for the day. And there aren't tons of events to report on, although there are some. So don't get it twisted. Don't get it mixed up and excited. And the events we do have to talk about are obviously still Age of Sigmar 2, as we're in that transitional period between 2 and 3. So it's an exciting time for everyone as they're putting their list together. We're still waiting for the FAQ for Age of Sigmar 3, but there's loads of stuff to talk about. I'm going to thank everyone for subscribing in the chat, like the Kitsune Adventures. Big Goldfish, what up? Wargamer, let's go. I hope everyone is well. There's been some donations from MJ Pegasus and Bobbin. Thank you very much for donating £4.69 to the show. And Kill Panic, I'm really happy that I made you buy a 3D printer. So there's still some stuff to talk about. And actually, there's a really nice kind of closing conversation to talk about with the results today. I want to shout out everyone on the podcast. Make sure you're staying hydrated. I want to thank everyone on YouTube. I hope you're well. I hope you're being thugs. And I want to thank everyone on the Wargamer Patreon. Couldn't live without you. So great. T-Man Cash, thanks for resubscribing. Thank you for being the legend you are. This show is awesome. T-Man Cash, my pleasure. Thank you guys for being the legends you are. What up, Plymouth Troll Slayers in the chat? Diadrin, hello. Yes. Math Mallow, what's going on? There's the 3D printers behind me. We're still not back in the booth. Still trying to repair the PC, but I think it's completely kaput. So thank you to everyone in the chat for helping me try and get a new PC in the donation fund. That's super nice of you. Rambo Squirrel, what's going on? I'm going to see how long I can play Lunar Throne Lords without buying Sentinels and Foxes to see if I become the LRL player people will still talk to. We'll see, man. I think the game is going to be so different now. I'm very excited about it. We are fish. We are. Hey, Pissball General, and thanks to Shugo for donating £10 to the show. Right, let's talk about some good... there's two things to talk about today, right? We're going to talk about an event that happened down south. I hope I've got that right. And Shugo, that's super appreciated, man. That's fucking great of you. So thank you. There's a couple of events we're going to talk about. Specifically, the Little Bo Peep GTs, and also we're going to use an amazing website. So this is Sliding Plastic, right, where we're going to look at the events from the Dutch GT. So good, this website. I've used it. I haven't used it, but we've used it to look at results before. I'm going to just share it in the chat. And you guys should check it out because it's so good. Rambo Squirrel, thank you for resubscribing as well. Big shout out, Rima Nightspear. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Thanks to Dan the Kraken. War Docs Are Live. Thanks for resubscribing. Hey, Carkfish. Hey. First time we made the show live. Hey, Carkfish. What's going on? Right, so there's two things to talk about. And there's some really, really exciting stuff from these two events to kind of dissect. First off, we'll go talk about the Dutch GT, which I put the link in the chat there. And thanks, Carkfish, for subscribing. So really appreciate that. The link you guys can see in the chat, they'll show you the standings. And it's Dennis Bouwmeester, who I woke up to a WhatsApp message from him this morning, which was super sweet, being like, I've done it, Rob. I've done it at the closing to the 5th day. Look to the east, and you'll see an Ogre More Tribes player go 5-0. And I was like, no. And it's true. He has. He smashed it. He's absolutely smashed it, which is, he's got to be super happy about that. And this is what's in his list. It's an Ogre More Tribes list, and it's Thunderbellies. Thunderbellies, that's right. He's still got an Earlbad battalion, but it's Thunderbellies of all things, which is very cool. And he's going to be really happy about that because it's not what we normally see. Blood Gullet, normally we see Blood Gullet, and normally we see. Oh God. Why can't I think of the word today? Come on, everyone. What's the other one? Not Stonebad. Got no words. I've been working out. Dennis Buildmaster. Thank you, by the way, to Mayor Christoph for resubscribing. Big love to you. That's very much appreciated. Boulderhead. Thank you, Tubbs. Oh, my God. I thought I was having a small stroke then. Appreciate you. So much. Appreciate it so much. You are bad. You're bad. Thank you. No, not you're bad. You're bad. Not you are bad. Yeah, boulder head, not strong bad. None of those things. None of those things. It's not winter bite either. Smorgan, one guy does winter bite. Anyway, but it wasn't. It was Thunderbellies, of all things, which is pretty exciting. It wasn't Dreadwood either. You fucking all dicks, is all I'm going to say. Sorry, Age of Sigmar, Stat Center. We don't swear. Do we? I don't know. 469, we can do what we like. But anyway, what is in the rest of his list? So he's got Frostlord and Stonehorn, and he's obviously got the command trait. I'm just gonna go get this actually very quickly from the online resource that we all need to gather information. A lot of people are scared that the app's going to go away, but the app works fine if you just use Google Chrome. That's the very best way to get it. So the battle trait for Thunderbellies is Swift Outflank. Friendly Thunderbellies Mournfang units wholly within 12 inches of the edge of the battlefield at the start of your charge phase can charge in the same charge phase, even if they ran at the same turn. So you've got running and charging Mournfang, which is pretty good. And you also get to add one to the prayers. The command ability uses command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, you pick one enemy with one or more wounds allocated to it within 6 inches of a Thunderbelly's hero. Until the end of that phase, you can reroll wound rolls for attacks made by friendly Thunderbelly's Mournfang. So he's like doubling down on those rerolls. And then he's got the command trait Storm Chaser, which is what he's put on his Frostlord. Add one to the charge rolls for friendly Thunderbelly's units while they're holding within 18 inches of the general. So +1 to charge. And then he's got the Shatterstone. Enemy units treat terrain features within 12 inches of the bearer as having deadly scenery rule. I don't think that would have come up, but it's there anyway. And then his list, he had that Frostlord on Stonehorn with Storm Chaser, and he'd obviously had the Alvagar rune tokens, and he obviously had Metal Cruncher as well. He had a Huskguard on Stonehorn with the Blood Vulture, and he had the Shatterstone, that artifact I just talked about, and the Black Clatterhorn. So still the two main items that we see regularly on these units, but still very different. What's everyone in the chat saying? Is the swearing man on? The swearing man is on. If you're not using Chrome, you don't deserve War Scroll Builder. That's correct, Math Mallow. The thing is, totally. Okay, you guys are talking amongst yourself. That's good. Okay. Just to let you guys know, there may well be a Honest Wargamer Plus app coming soon, but that's a side note. So anyway, let's just talk about his list. Frostlord on Stonehorn, Huskguard on Stonehorn, Slaughtermaster. Bit of a classic. Then he's running those 2 units of Mournfang. So 2 new units of 4 Mournfang, yeah, which are only 280 points. One with Gargant Hackers and one with Clubbing... Sorry, everyone. One with Culling Clubs, and then another 2 with Culling Clubs. So he's got kind of like more of the attrition-y unit, and then he's got the big Gargant Hacker unit as well. And then he had a Stonehorn Beast Rider unit, and then he obviously had that Yorbad Battalion. So I think he can just lose the Yorbad Battalion in Age of Sigmar 3, and this does as well. And that Mournfang unit running and charging must have done really good. He also had a really tough path to victory. Beat Fangs of Sotek in the final game, played up against 2 OBR lists. Like, it was no messing about. So he's got to be really happy. And it's kind of a really nice way to kind of like tie a bow on Age of Sigmar 2.0 with those Stonehorns taking out the Dutch GT. They've got to be really happy about that. So I'm super pleased for him, and he should be doing really well. So big love. I nearly used your show as the reason I reject a meeting for work today, but I didn't. They think would buy it maybe next year when the TSN stonks go to the moon. Thanks, Rambo Scroll. Next year. Let's go. Choo choo. Hello everyone, by the way. The plus. Thanks Jim Oconius for donating 100 bits. So Dutch GT won by Ogre Tribes in Thunderbellies, which is not what we were expecting. So Ogre Tribes not what we were expecting. Thunderbellies not what we were expecting. Getting those Mournfang to run and charge. Really exciting. Amazing news. What a great event. And also the Dutch GT looks really good. And also that website looks fantastic for running events off again. So that's Sliding Plastic is the website. So you guys can go check that out if you want. Now, in second place, let's just go get this, was Ignaz Halstedt. Let me get that and make sure I've got that right. There. And then his army list was called I Paid for the Whole Book, I Used the Whole Book. And he had a Thunder Lizard Seraphon list with Croak at 430, an Astroloth Bannerbearer, a Skink Priest, an Engine of the Gods, and a Skink Oracle on Troglodyte. Holy hell. Then 3 units of 10 Skinks, 10 Skinks, 5 Saurus Guard, 2 Bastillodons. Then they had the Bound Shards of Alagar, the Bound Burning Head, and the Geminids of Ulgish, which are also bound as well. Now, of course, the Bound Burning Head is going to give those re-rolls on the Bastillodons that are going to be firing twice, which is super useful. And then Croak being able to do his spells through the Troglodyte really makes up for the fact that can no longer go on the Balewind. In fact, actually, you're paying a lot more points for the Skink Oracle on Troglodyte, but the fact that you can do Croak's spell from a much longer range because of him is actually pretty significant, because you measure to the Skink Oracle, and then you measure the spell range from the Skink Oracle, because it's kind of like a cheap spell portal, I guess. Not a cheap spell portal, it's a more expensive spell portal. But I think that's really fun. I love that, and I think you would expect to see that more in the future. And also Shards of Alagar are also going to be very useful in the future, I do think. Do Mournfang have a champion model? I think they have a champion model, actually. Thanks, Neuroshock Dubs. Big love to you. Tubbs, painting 2K Snakes in 2 weeks for your event on the 10th. Going to be a rough couple of weeks. You got this, Tubbs. I believe in you. You've got this. You've got this. So anyway, yeah, great result there, and also nice to see Croak still being taken, even though I think there's a lot of conversations about maybe him not being taken. I think the Skink Oracle on Troglodyte doing that work is actually pretty impressive. So I'm just going to say that. And then in third place, Nico van der Hoek took a Futhwan Einethdikin army with Volti and Eidolon, which was the aspect of the storm. So that's the fighty one with the Cloud of Midnight. We're seeing that happen quite a lot at the minute. And then he's running a classic kind of Tom Gilboy list at this stage. He's running those Ishlen Guard. So he's running 6 units of Ishlen Guard with the Acalian Leviathan. And then he's also got the 2 units of 9 Cainite Shadow Stonkers as well. So a very Gilboy list, sans the Sharks. And again, this won't work as well in Age Sigmar 3 because you're getting the double +1 save from the Leviathan, giving +1 save and cover first turn. So that 2-up invulnerable save. It's quite interesting actually. At the 40k event of the weekend, we had a unit of Admech with a 2-up invulnerable save, which has been FAQ'd in the WTC pack, so the independent pack to not be a thing. But we've regularly had 2-up invulnerable save Einethdikin for a long time. So, like, that's not for a long time, 6 months. But that won't happen in the future. The best they'll be able to get is a 3-up save, +1 from either being in cover or +1 from Leviathan. They can get +2 as it can stack, but the maximum it will be a 3. So they'll fail on 1s and they fail on 2s. However, you can now use... you can't use Mystic Shield. There's no reroll 1s, is there? That's interesting. Being able to get themselves a reroll 1s mechanic for the saves would be huge. So that would be really good. So there we go. They still get the 2+, but it doesn't get to be a 2+, right? It's a 3+ max because you can only add +1 to your save. But you can add technically +2. If that works, I think. Yeah. The War Scroll changes it to a 3+. Tom Dix just subscribed to Tier 1. Thanks, Tom Dix. Big love to you. That still works in Age of Sigmar 3 as well, which is super cool. Big fan of that. Right, so that was the Dutch GT. Looks great. I'm actually very excited after COVID, and it's all safe, whatever the situation in the future. To go to a bunch of European events. I think Age of Sigmar is really kicking off. I know there's some great German events, Sweden, Holland, like all those places I'd love to go. Would be really good. So yeah, really looking forward to that. But when they charge, their save changes to a 3+, so with a turtle it's a 2+. Thanks some Norwegian dude and Smorgan for pointing that out. I more meant if they are charged. But yeah, 100%. Like, if they charge it, change it to a 3+, right? And then, so, still got a 2-up invulnerable save. Oh, shit. Turtles don't suck. The turtles are the best. Really into turtles. Turtles are going to slap in the next edition, in my opinion. What does everyone else think, actually? Because the turtles give out a +1 save aura, so then they obviously can't use all-out defense. So, all-out attack on them feels like quite good, right? +1 to hit. I don't know if anyone's heard about all-out attack. It's really useful. Really useful. It's also what the internet is using against any of the articles written about these. Anyway, turtles don't suck. Turtle go burr. Okay, everyone loves the turtles. Okay, great on Ungles, I hear. Anyway, let's not get into that. So that was that event at the weekend, Dutch GT. I got to say that I love this website that they're using, so you guys should check it out. I've put the links in the chat. It looks really good. It's got all of the scoring, so you can see absolutely everything. It's really public, and I think that that's excellent from these guys to put that in there. So great little rundown of stuff from this website and these guys. So looking forward to more events and TOs using that in the future. Right. Back to England in the south, we had the Little Bo Peep GT series. Now, there's so much information here, I honestly can't read it all out, but I'll kind of give you guys the highlights and the stuff that was interesting to me. Specifically, that with COVID restrictions, this was kind of set up to be in pods of 6, but those pods were made to rate their skill and ability before, so that's how you got put into pods, right, basically. So, you were like, how good am I? 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. How good am I as a player? And then which pod to put me in. So basically, if you were 1s, if you're I'm a 1, then you would get put into all the 1 pods, etc., etc. You kind of get put together. And then the winners of each of the little pods went through to kind of play in the GT final, which is fun. And I think the spread is what's the most interesting point. From the first week, you had no people give themselves a 1. You had 3 give themselves a 2, and 11 give themselves a 3. And then 5 people give themselves a 4. So there was no one who thought, yeah, I'm the top tits. But they did think that 3 people thought that they were pretty great. In the week 2 stuff, 1 person thought he was the business, or they were the business, sorry. And then 2 in tier 2, and then loads in tier 3. And at this point, or 8 in tier 3. But then you had some 4 people in tier 5. They were like, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And I think that that's really fun for a first round. I really like this. Week 3, you had 0 people in tier 1, you had 6 people in tier 5, and then you had 12 people in tier 3. So a lot of people just kind of rate their skills as average. And this system for themselves, so over all the heats. So over all the heats, I think this is what's most interesting. There was 1 person who thought that they were tier 1. You had 11 people think they were tier 5. Then you had 6 people think they were tier 2. 31 people think they were tier 3, and 11 people think they were tier 4. So based on self-judging, a large significant portion of the community that attended the event thought that they were average or below average. Only 7 people thought that they were above average, with 22 people thinking they were below average, so double that. And I think that's with 31 people thinking they were average. And I think that's just fascinating stats. I actually love that. Low self-esteem or strategy. I mean, it could be strategy. I guess that's one of those things to talk about. Just say 5, even if you know you're a 1. See you later, Big Fish. Big love to you. What the fuck? Henry didn't rate himself a 1. Cheeky bastard. Sounds way too submarine to the top. Why can't we all be above average? I don't know. The point is, yes, there might be a strategy to set yourself up as a lower tier. But I think if we were to take all of the self-assessment as fact, it's interesting to hear people judge themselves and the general tournament crowd to think of themselves as average or below average in those skill sets. And I actually think that that's really fun. I would maybe like to see larger events maybe put that into effect, because then you could just at least organize those round 1 matches, right? Or you could have people just punk people round 1, and then round 2 they're back with their people. But I would probably like to see the path to victory for the people who consider themselves to be above average to be harder anyway. And I think that would be a good thing. Now, obviously, you when people self-assess, you can mix it up. But I'm pretty certain, like Pissball General, who it was the TO, he's in the chat. He said anyone who tried it as a strategy got punished and put in a higher group. So there you go. So it wasn't. I think it's something you can manage fairly well. And the thing is you already know the people who do well anyway, pretty much. So when they give themselves that, when they try and do that for themselves, you just punish them and you put them in a higher group anyway. So I think I quite like it. I don't know what everyone else thinks. I'd love to know. Trying to submarine doesn't work. The TO just throws you in the top group anyway. There you go. I'd imagine the competitive players judge themselves lower as they're aware of how much they have to learn. The competitive players judge themselves lower as they're aware of how much they have to learn. Yeah, Rob Kelly, like you're never like... I think there's a little bit of self-assessment, right? Like, I'm not the best player in the world, is maybe how you would describe yourself, but I'm pretty competent, like, which is above average. To give you guys some sort of indication of where I think the average is, the average should just be I don't make mistakes. And that doesn't mean tactical mistakes, as in I just don't make mistakes on the tabletop. That's pretty much the average skill set of an average tournament goer. Like, they won't make mistakes. They'll understand what their secondaries are. They'll understand what the rules are. They don't make mistakes. That's average. And then anything above that, which on the sliding scale of skill is actually beginner. So, like, anyway. I think it depends on your crowd. You may consider yourself average among a group of competitive players. This would still be above average of all players. Tavi. That's a really good point. I've been playing since first edition, entered a Super League, a tier above the worst. Turns out I'm worst here. I should probably actually learn how to play the game. Says Slippy Tiger. Rob, how would I win without making mistakes? I don't know, Colby Felly. I'm not sure. But anyway, very interesting system. And also because of restrictions and still trying to be smart and run a really good event, effectively the event was run in little pods with the winners going through to a kind of a GT at the end. And I like that, especially for like a local community again. Setting up a small league, so like a little series of GTs, so you end up with this kind of conclusion and you end up with this big win, is excellent in my opinion, and I love that. So personally, big fan of that system. I think that's really fun, and I think it should be rewarded. There's an excellent breakdown of all of the armies that played, their win percentages. Far too much information to show on the show, and it was also quite a small data set. So as much as it's interesting, it's also like it's not a huge set of data. But like I loved it. Really great work from them. And yeah, looked really, really fun. Looked like a fun event. So well done. Publish it if you want. Oh, thanks, Pissball General. I will do that. That sounds like a fun thing. I feel a few people probably did similar. Attended the third heat of this event, says Harvey Spranksy. Would normally rate myself a 2, but due to not playing for a year, decided on a 3. That's fair. I think that's fair. All right, well, that's it for today. I know it's a shorter one than usual, but like because it's a stats center, I want to make sure it's just the information. It's not just a classic ramble. But we are back live again tonight at 7 p.m. With the Honest Wargamer Monday show, Nathan and fans. So looking forward to that. So yeah, that's going to be really fun. We're going to be talking more Age of Sigmar 3. So that's going to be exciting. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Again, I know there's restrictions, there's Delta variants, there's whatever. There's an event, by the way, in Essex, which Winner Dave is running. I don't know if there's still tickets left for that, but if you guys want to go, you should. And then, but I know some places are locking down, some people might be locking down, whatever the situation. Stream Streak will keep going while it's all happening, whatever the setup, whatever the situation. But if you can attend events safely and well, you should, and it's going to be really, really fun. So I hope the Spice Center will be back this week on Thursday. I don't have a dozen tables of terrain to paint anymore, so I'm laughing. So that'll be back this week. And then, yeah, thanks for joining me for these 469 days. It's been really, really fun. And do join us again tonight. It's going to be really, really, really cool. We're on the road to 500. That's where we are now. 469 to 500. Let's go. Today. Hey, sorry again. How's the new job? Hope it's well. Big songs for big hats, yeah. Right, does that mean you'll be able to sleep? Yeah, I slept last night for hours. It was fucking lush and I loved it. That's why I look awful. Look at this. You podcasters you can't see, but I look atrocious. So that's right. The road to 500, baby. Let's go. We're definitely going to do a big party for 500, by the way. Love you all. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for listening to the podcast, staying hydrated, being safe, and everything else. We are going to be setting up things for Age of Sigmar 3 for TOs and people around the world. So we'll be doing like a fill-in sheet and all that other stuff. If you are running any Age of Sigmar 3 events sometime soon, let us know. And we'll start like gathering that data. That's going to be really fun to break down. We'll be back with visual stats. We'll be back with everything else. It's going to be very, very fun. Looking forward to this edition. Looking forward to events. Love you all. Have a nice day. See you soon. Bye.